The transfer window, obviously, as we know, for buying players is finished now. Are you happy with the business we've done?
Yeah, I think so. If you look at of course, people often judge it almost on that deadline day. But if you look at the business we've done over the course of the window, I mean, you can see the type of player we've tried to bring in. I think you can see the strength of player that we've tried to bring in. I don't think that will end with 3 weeks left of the loan window, and I think I think if you noticed yesterday, it was a slightly different window to usual, where there was nowhere near the same amount of business done as usual, because everybody knows that really it's not really a deadline day, because you can still do loans with a obligation to buy. You can still do loans with a permanent deal attached to it. So ultimately, I think, you know, whilst there's always that half an eye on trying to strengthen in your group if deals become available, which they did with Sam. Sam's a player that obviously I've spoke about before at other clubs. I think he's a right type of player for the way we want to try and play. He's very mobile, got a great left foot in terms of adding that balance to midfield, and I think he also can cover, you know, a multitude of positions, you know, and that's something we spoke about. Do we bring a left back in at that point that might just sit on the bench for 46 games, or do we bring someone that can actually offer us something else in other positions as well? So at the moment, that's what we've done, and I've been pretty pleased. We want to do more. We'd like to do more. I think we need to do more, but ultimately at the moment, I've been pleased with a level of player that we brought into the club.
So talking about the loans that you might be doing, I'm assuming you want to get some players out of the club because they obviously aren't going to feature and get the games they want.
Yeah, and that's a difficult thing, because that's probably started the second we came back from pre-season. So, you know, how long we're in now? We're 6-7 weeks in, and as you can see, it's been, you know, I mean, I don't deal with that side of it, you know, in terms of the getting players out on whatever deals, but I do believe that obviously you know, if there's lots of options for players, then it'd be quite easy to find a deal to get those players out. So that suggests that there's not lots of options, and that suggests that you know, we're still going to have to work incredibly hard to get some players out as well, you know, and the players also, because, you know, I've had a number of players come to me and saying, you know, they need regular football, they can't have seasons like they've had maybe in the last 1 or 2, and if I can't promise that, then, you know, they need to go and find football elsewhere. But they've all worked hard in the group. I think most of those players I've had a conversation with know where they stand within the group, and it's one of those things really that I'll kind of let other people focus on that while I continue to focus on the team.
But you're letting other people focus on it, but presumably you have a final say.
Oh, in terms of who goes out? Yeah, of course. Yeah, look, I'm not suggesting that. What I mean is, you know, I'm not sat behind an office working out what deals we do. Of course, that's, you know, other people will do that. But I'll be the one that says, you know, these are the players that I don't think are going to be in my plans, or these are the players that I think we would let go if the right. I think the key is that if the right deal became available and the right opportunity, and I think ultimately, you know, no club wants to let players out if the deals are not right, because why would you just, you know, why would you, you know, so particularly with no emergency loan system, you know, but yeah, so we'll see how that develops. We've got 3 weeks. I'm sure there'll be some of the players who'll be just as keen to get out and play regular football or have a new start, you know, and that's the way any club will work at this point of the window.
So going on to the match tomorrow against Brentford, we had a bit of an awakening at Leeds, is probably the best way to put it. How did the players react to that afterwards?
They've reacted really well. I think everyone was really honest in the dressing room to suggest that, you know, it had been an awakening. I think there was a few caveats to that, one of which was that the opposition played really well on the day and in front of their own crowd and with a new manager. I thought they played fantastically well. Out of all the Championship football I've seen so far, I think the performance was as good as any. And secondly, quite a few of our players maybe were surprised by the intensity and were surprised by the level of sort of desire shown by the opposition. But you know, what we can't have is we can't have that surprise lasting for more than one game, because this is a division we're in. We're here for a reason, and regardless of where everyone else wants to put us, you know, I said it before the game, we have to fight to earn everything we get, you know. So there's a few things tactically within the game I think we needed to do better. There's a few things we'll look towards Saturday to do. But I would certainly just look for the team to show more character and a little bit more belief in their ability, because we've got good players, you know, and unless players are prepared to step out there and show everyone how good they are, then you know, it's going to be another difficult game anyway. But you make the game a little bit harder with your performance.
It's also a worry, isn't it, when you come down from the Premier League because you've lost a lot of matches, that losing mentality continues to permeate the team, and we need to get out of it as quick as we can.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, that's something that you're always mindful of, and it's something that, you know, sometimes teams, you've seen it over the past few seasons where teams go down and it does take a little bit of time to settle sometimes. That's just, you know, statistically a lot of the teams will do that. But we don't want to be that type of team. But you're right. Some of the players have had a season where it's not been great, and you have to sometimes, you know, for some of those players they might have given everything they've got, but things have just not worked in the way that they want, and we have to snap out of that quickly. I think we'd all agree we've got good players, but we'd all agree that on Sunday we didn't play like a good team, and we have to do that very quickly. And I think sometimes winning games breeds confidence, but to win games, you know, you've got to work incredibly hard and fight and do the basics well. You're not just going to win the game because you're a good team on paper. You have to earn the right to be a good team, and that's something we've mentioned this week, and that's something that I would hope the team would exude on Saturday against, again, be another tough opponent. They play with good tempo, Brentford. They move the ball really well. They've been together a lot longer than our team have, but we need to find that synergy very quick.
And any injury problems this week?
No, not as I'm aware of. I think you know, a couple of the lads training with the under-23s have got injuries at the moment. So Chupa and Imbula. So whether their training's harder than ours, I'm not sure, but so I think they'll be unavailable.
And finally, from me, the crowd can make a massive difference this season, can't they? But particularly the first home match tomorrow, will be about 25,000 people, I would think, in the stadium.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. I mean, look, it's you know, it's up to us once again. I've said this all the time. It's up to the players to give the crowd a lift, but it doesn't half help if the crowd start really vociferous, you know, because it has a massive difference. It's intimidating for the opposition. It energises our team, and there'll be times this season, and Saturday might be one of those times where, you know, we need to perform to get the crowd behind us, but sometimes we'll need the crowd to help us to get to where we want to be, you know. And as far as I'm concerned, you know, we've got to do it together. We're gonna, you know, this season we're gonna be elated. We're gonna cry at times. We're gonna be, you know, we're gonna be buzzing after games. We're going to be disappointed after games, but we'll have to do it all together. And for me, that's the strength of this club, that you know, has always been as one. The crowd have stayed behind the team even after a difficult season last year. So we want to give them something to smile about now.
Well, don't be too disappointed, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anything else? Brentford made the perfect start last weekend with 5-1. What sort of threat do you think? You faced Dean Smith a few times in Championship. What sort of threat do his side pose?
Yeah, again, look, I mean, Brentford have been a good side since Dean's gone there. I mean, Dean, you know, they play a way that, you know, it's a very possession-based style, a lot of movement, quite a young team, and he's obviously worked with those players for quite some time. But we, you know, we've played against them before many times. It's early season. It's always difficult early season to get too much of a pattern of the team because they've only played one game, and whilst they won their first game, you know, that doesn't really have much bearing on how we'll prepare. So they're a good team. We'll respect them, but we've got to remember we're at home, and it's up to us to impose our style on the opposition, and it's up to, you know, us to make Brentford have to worry about us. But at the same time, we'll always respect the opposition, and we'll have to work incredibly hard to get a result.
Saido Berahino was left out of the squad against Leeds. Is there any injury worries there, or how long? That was
down to different reasons, but Saido's not done anything wrong. You know, but I won't go into the details, but it certainly wasn't his fault. But he was left off the bench at the weekend, and there'll be a good chance he'll be in the 18 this week.
Finally, just back on to Sam Clucas. Obviously, with the injury, how long is it likely to be before we see him in a
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to assess exactly, but I think the prognosis is that he'll be sort of a week away from training with the first team. He's making really good progress. I mean, he's a naturally fit player anyway, but then he hasn't played any matches since last season, so we've then got to be mindful and careful as to how quick we put him back in. So I think Sam would probably be around 4 weeks away from being ready to play in a first team game. But, you know, that could be shorter, that could be longer, just depending on how he progresses. But we knew that. I mean, I think the value of the deal reflects that. And we just felt as a club that it was, you know, the value of the deal meant that it was too good of an opportunity to bring a player like that in, you know. And as I said, you know, he's a really good addition to the group.